all I'm doing really is choosing the floors and choosing the walls and choosing the ceilings and some furniture. But we don't really do it that way. We are creating a cinematic setting with those as our ingredients. And oftentimes, thousands of people see our restaurants. But we are really designing for the 10% of tastemakers who really understand. And they inform the other 90% that this is a cool place.
We want to take a moment and thank Halm Collectives, the stunning space that hosts Season 2 of the Design Pod.
From its beautifully designed interiors to the energy it brings, Halm truly reflects the creative spirit behind our conversations. We are grateful to be recording in a space that feels so aligned with our vision.
More than just a location, Halm Collective is also a home to a reformer studio, a private boutique gym, and a charming cafe. A full experience built around design, wellness, and community.
Thank you guys from Halm Collective for making this season possible.
Hi Valeria.
Hi Shad.
How are you?
Good.
We are at the end of season 2, Valeria.
Exciting.
It was a beautiful journey, and we're wrapping up, and today we're joined by an extraordinary voice when it comes to contemporary hospitality and interior architecture.
Yep.
Tristan du Plessis.
So excited. Welcome, Tristan.
Thank you so much.
You truly have an eye for boldness, for storytelling, and for details. And you have created some of the most iconic hotels, restaurants, and nightlife settings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We're so happy to have you here, Tristan.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah.
I know we've tried to do this for quite some time.
We have tried
we
for
managed
so
finally.
long, and finally for the end, for the finale.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. Just to ask you right away, growing up in Johannesburg, then moving to Cape Town, how the whole culture, the landscape, the background shaped your creative identity, your nature, your design flow, if you want to call it that way?
Yeah, I think how my voice grew in South Africa is that it's such an empty canvas. There's no rules, or you don't drive down a street and see 17 places to get inspiration from. So when you get a project, you look outwards to the rest of the world, and you have this freedom to interpret that in the local context. So I think it's starting my design career there just gave me so much freedom to experiment with things. The expectation's not as high as it is here. So we got to do some really fun things.
Did you always know that you're going to be in creative industry? You probably didn't know that it's going to be interior design or architecture, but did you always know that you will end up in doing something creative?
I had a feeling that I would, and then I started a BCom marketing degree, and after 6 months, I definitely knew that I would have a creative career because I left university and searched for something more creative to do. I think it's easy to, when you look back, say I always knew that I wanted to do it. And now I can see that I always wanted to, but it's difficult to find that direction.
Is it true that you're self-taught? You didn't go to university?
No, I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't. I was interested by the industry. So I went for a two-week internship to see if I liked it or not.
Wow.
After the 2 weeks, they asked me, hey, just stay for another 2 weeks, and another 2 weeks, and another 2 weeks. And then 3 years later, I was a partner.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. At that company. So I never got to study, but I learned so much being at that first company. I started off doing floor plans, just copying like hand sketch floor plans and putting them into CAD. And then for a period, probably like the most fun period I had, I was the CNC operator.
That is fun.
Which was so much fun. Because once I'd done like all the boring door schedules, I'd have like some boards left over, and then I'd design whatever I wanted to and like print it out onto these boards through the CNC machine.
How do you think it shaped you to who you guys are today, not having that background or like, for example, us, we go by the book a lot of times, and this is how it has to be. Or do you think it has shaped you in a different way?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I don't go by the book. I start at the end first. I start at where what does the guest want? What does the guest want to feel with the space?
Yeah.
You know, I think that's the most important thing. It's not how you get to that space through process, but it's starting with that end result that you wish to
Achieve,
achieve, you know, without going down a similar path with a similar narrative, because you don't have to. And sometimes it makes my life really difficult. And I have to sit myself down and say, listen, all I'm doing really is choosing the floors and choosing the walls and choosing the ceilings and some furniture. But we don't really do it that way. We are creating a cinematic setting with those as our ingredients. So I think it's just given me that freedom without the process, is to really look at what is the end result and what's important about the end result. And
very interesting to look at it that way, because it's definitely not how we were taught, like what you said by the book, you know. It's always conceptual, whilst if you dig into work right away, like you said, you immediately looking at what is it, the final outcome that needs to be there, and that the client wants, right? And the budget. And that's another thing that hasn't been taught really in the schools, that it goes hand in hand.
With reality, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I think that like initial introduction into that company, we did design and build. So budget was part of everyday life. And, you know, I was so motivated just to create the best possible thing that I could. So it's taking that budget and like really trying to squeeze the blood out of a stone to get the best possible thing. That's carried with me through my whole career.
You were doing nightclubs as your first project.
Yeah.
That must be fun for your 20s.
When you're 21 and designing all the best nightclubs, being 21 is the best thing ever. Like it's just guest list every day.
Name some of the nightclubs in Johannesburg that.
Okay, only people in Johannesburg will know, but
I'm most probably traveling to Cape Town, so maybe we'll do a trip to Johannesburg as well. So.
None of those nightclubs will still be there, because I was 21. That was like 16 years ago.
Yeah.
But we did literally every single nightclub we designed, and it was so much fun. And I think I've been very fortunate in that was parallel to what I enjoyed, going to nightclubs when I was 21 and designing nightclubs. And as I've grown personally, my work has followed that same trajectory, which is amazing. You know, seeking, you know, when I first started doing restaurants, it was like really cool, vibey, like a little bit raw and unrefined. And that was fun at the time. And now, as you know, my personal tastes are being more refined, my projects are following the same curve. So, yeah, that's been amazing.
You were talking about cinematic settings. Like, where did that passion come from?
I think this is like an early memory. So in Johannesburg, I went to public school, which is not the best public school in the world. But every time I had a date, like there were a few restaurants down the road that everyone would go to those restaurants. And I'd research like the most beautiful spaces in Johannesburg, and I'd travel quite far away from...
Such a designer way to...
far away from like where I was, because I realized how important setting is and how a different setting can make you feel internally. And there's a cinematic presence when you walk into a space.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Like, this is overused, but main character. But when you step into a place, you feel like the main character of whatever that evening is, and not just another number, another table, another service.
Especially these days with F&Bs, I feel like we're trying to, to step up in different direction. We're trying to do it more Instagrammable, more beautiful. Everyone's trying to come up with everything, but it's exciting.
Yeah, I think when every client's asked you to create a Instagrammable moment, but that's not really how it works. Like, you've got to create beautiful spaces that feel good, and if it's good enough, someone will take a picture of something. But if you prescribe an Instagrammable moment, it's contrived. It doesn't really work. 80% of people will enjoy that, but the 20% will see it for what it is and not like it. They'll see it as cheesy and contrived.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, thousands of people see our restaurants. but we are really designing for the 10% of tastemakers who really understand. And they inform the other 90% that this is a cool place. This is at that level. And that's really who you've got to aim for.
Yeah,
And
that's a good strategy.
Creating an Instagram wall is not really going to impress that 10%.
Tristan, when you design a restaurant or when you go in and design a hotel, what's the first thing you would ask the client or the chef or
Operator.
the operator?
Yeah.
Most important thing, who is your ideal guest?
Okay.
Paint the picture of who your ideal guest is. And if they've got somewhat of an idea, we'll discuss it together and even go down to the level where we choose an actual person. If this person walked into this restaurant, would they feel like it suited them? And I think that says a lot about depersonifying yourself from the project, because as designers, we like to think everything's for us, but it's not. It's for the guest and seeing it from that guest perspective. So that's the first question is who? Who is it for?
That actually leads me to my next question. So when we already touched a little bit about the making it like timeless spaces, do you think in a current setup and what we currently live in, even in Dubai, Johannesburg, it doesn't matter, any big metropolitan city, do you think that timeless still exists, even especially in F&B?
Yeah, of course.
Do you think we still can design something timeless, considering what a fast-paced environment we're living in?
The truth is no one can set out to design something timeless. That's not really how it works. I think what defines it...
Go a little bit deeper in that, because that's quite interesting.
Yeah, because I think a timeless space is any space that's done to the best possible standards that it could be for the people that it's for. This is a terrible example. The Cheesecake Factory is a timeless design for the people who enjoy Cheesecake Factory. It's the perfect thing for them. Done to a really good level, it's like the most Cheesecake Factory looking place you can find. And I think it's building the best possible thing at that moment in time that withstands aging, And I use that terrible example because it's fun to use and I don't want to call out anyone else. But like Zuma and DIFC, that's timeless.
You're not the first person who has mentioned Zuma as one of the iconic restaurants that actually stood the test of time.
And I can promise you, when they had those design meetings, they didn't say, create a timeless restaurant. They said, create a beautiful restaurant that relates to our menu, that's not inspired by what's going on outside, and that made it timeless.
Is there a big difference between designing, let's say, a daytime place and a nighttime place?
The setting, the venue.
Like, what's the big difference? I always think, when I started my career, I was like, surely it cannot be difficult to do a nightclub. It's dark anyway. No one will see details, But tell us a little bit. I don't have any experience in doing a nightclub, so I would love to hear your...
Well, I think those are three very distinct moods. One, and lighting is the most important part. With breakfast, lunch, you create a space that lets light in. Dinner, you have to create a space that emits light. That's really important, that you create the space that glows. And nightlife or nightclub is how do you create kinetic lighting? What is that light going to show you? Because in a nightclub, yeah, you're right. No one's going to see the details on the chair. Everything from the shoulders up is what matters. Because if your nightclub's doing well and it's busy, you're not going to see anything below shoulder height. But it's how do you create those moments with lighting and features? It's hard to do a nightclub, for sure.
Yeah.
But I think it's defined really by the lighting and how you create mood with those settings.
Because Valeria, have you been to a nightclub during the daytime?
I've been to a nightclub.
I mean, it's so different. Like when you
everything is different. The smell is different. The
the
mood is
ambience,
different. Yes,
for sure.
Yeah.
Is it more difficult to design a daytime place than a nighttime place?
No.
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 Okay.
I really just think every project has the same amounts of challenges, just different challenges.
Yes.
I wouldn't say one's harder than the other.
Speaking about challenges, like your designs are very detailed. I love that. There is a lot of layering about it. There is a lot of drama. If you look at Cullinan or Lorraine, the big, pieces of marble. How do you make sure that your aesthetics remain whilst actually facing operational challenges, which there are a lot. There must be, of course, in any project.
Yeah, that's the battle that we always have as designers, is operation versus aesthetics. But I think what has really helped is having repeat clients and learning their operations. And the first time it's an argument and a battle, and the next time you know what they need. So you design around the needs of the operations. And there are places like Lorraine, which is heavily detailed and layered, but it goes with the aesthetic, and operations understand. Sure, it's a little bit more difficult to take care of, but it's worth it.
You guys travel a lot. You've done places between Miami, Shanghai, South Africa, Dubai,
Abu Dhabi.
Thank you. Is it different working in different places, or is there something that you pick up from these different countries and say that, okay, this design concept works for this country or this city, but it doesn't work for another place?
Also different clientele, obviously, from place to place.
Every single place is a completely new story. So you're 100% right. It needs to change from each city to city, but it can change within a city from a block to 2 blocks down. I think the environment's important, but the micro-environment's really important. And what I enjoy about being headquartered in South Africa is that I travel the world, and then I have this blank space where I haven't got a lot of projects. I don't have to worry about like what the designer across the road is thinking about what I'm doing at Louis Vuitton Cafe in Shanghai. I just do it for the project. So it's kind of like this laboratory space in Cape Town where there's no outside influence. So yeah, I mean, to your original question, you have to study each location and who it's for everywhere in the world. But that's the exciting part, that you're not doing the same thing over and over again. Every project is a new challenge.
We know that Dubai is, let's say, a metropolis for culinary spaces. Do you think it's oversaturated?
Any global culinary destination in the world is oversaturated.
Okay.
I think it's 100 bad restaurants for 10 amazing restaurants. I do find it difficult to just keep up with the restaurant openings.
We find it difficult that are living here.
One time I saw an article, I don't know what, I think maybe Condé Nast or something. Top 70 venues to try in Dubai this year. And I was like, a list of the top 70. That's an insane.
We're not surprised.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I don't know how people even know where to go. But in saying that, Dubai offers you a place where with one flight and in one city, you can experience all the best cuisine in the world 40 minutes away from each other. I think it's unparalleled. And like we were discussing before, is that just like Cape Town's my blank canvas for creativity, Dubai is the same. It's completely cosmopolitan. It doesn't lean towards a certain cuisine, where London has British cuisine and it's got cosmopolitan cuisine. New York, the same, Shanghai, Tokyo. But Dubai is just saying, bring it all. And for a resident or a traveler, you get to experience it all. You can choose to go to a new country, a new city with your palette every single night you're in Dubai. It's a pretty incredible place for that.
Yeah, and you never get bored.
And I would say our standards are very, very high. Like
Standard for service in Dubai, I think, is the best.
and
Absolutely
taste
best.
as well. I mean, I've had Japanese food here, and Japanese food in Japan is incredible as well. But I would say that we're at the same level in Dubai as well.
I think it's because it's filtered, right? Japan has Japanese restaurants because it's in Japan, but only the standout ones make it here,
That's true.
which I think is
so
really
true.
cool.
So true. Speaking about hospitality, it's like an ecosystem itself, right? Rooms, lobbies, restaurants. Now, every restaurant trying to make a fantastic F&B or brings external parties. What is your favorite part of designing of the hotel? And I know that you started locally. Again, you started from Cape Town with Gorgeous George, which was such a successful project. And you did projects in Rome, and now you're doing pretty much projects in the region here in Middle East and abroad globally. What is the part that you like the most when it comes to this hospitality sector?
I love social spaces. The rooms are obviously really important because that's your place of comfort and serenity. But I think the beauty is in the social spaces. Because when you travel, you expect a good room. You expect to be comfortable. But in social spaces, there's so many unexpected things that could happen. You could sit at a bar and start talking to someone from another country. And you'll remember that more than the comfortable bed. You met this amazing person from Germany and they spoke about what they were doing. Yeah, it depends. But the social spaces are, when I picture the hotel, when it finally opens, I just imagine all the people congregating in the lobby and going to the restaurant. For me, the sociability of hospitality spaces and hotels in particular is the most exciting part to me.
The lobbies are changing as well. The layouts are changing. And I think that traditional way how we approach lobby is changing as well. It's the same here in Dubai and in hospitality. A lot of it is technology driven now. And also the lobbies becomes the space where you work, especially post-COVID. And it blends in so many different, it's not just you're having a drink. It's also you work, you host your guests. How do we design the lobbies that are not cliche, I would put it that way, that is forward thinking? What is the future of lobby? How do we design something?
It also all depends. For me, I think there's a good balance that a lobby is a social space, but also allows some intimacy at check-in. In Paris, there's some beautiful hotels, but I've had the experience where I got delayed at my layover. I looked terrible by the time I got to Paris. And then I had to drag my bag through all of these beautiful Parisians. And I didn't look good.
It would never happen in Dubai.
Exactly. So, I had to drag my bag through. My hair was all over the place. And I was like, I just wish I could just check in. No one can see me. Let me shower. And then I'd come back down. So I think we're kind of learning. And oftentimes we are a little bit too idealistic about how the lobbies work. But I feel there should be a balance between an informal, cool check-in and the sociable spaces being accessible, but allowing guests to experience both. Technology being introduced.
What is your look at it? If we replace completely the front desk with the technology? Do we still need that human interaction?
Yeah, of course. Of course, because it's the beautiful moments in between. Your app's never going to tell you, I ate at this amazing restaurant last night, you should try it out. Or, those are really nice shoes you're wearing. That's... And I think with post-COVID and Zoom meetings, we realize that when you have an in-person meeting, like we're meeting in person now, if we did this on Zoom, we never would have had the chat that we had outside.
No.
It's the in-between moments that sometimes are so powerful.
Also makes you feel different, makes you feel much more comfortable around people.
And you never know what you're getting out of it. That you might miss out on something,
Yeah, and humans love stories. I was in New York once, and I went down to the hotel lobby bar. Let's say I ordered room service, and I kept away from people. I wouldn't have heard this amazing story where this young girl that just started working at the bar. She lived in Philadelphia. I may be wrong on that one. But she lived in another city, and she got her first job at the Edition, Times Square, and she drove 4.5 hours to work, finished her shift, drove 4.5 hours back.
Wow.
And that's just a small little story that I never would have heard if I didn't interact with someone. And it's really stayed with me because
Right there.
it was so inspiring. Like, I thought I was tired and jet lagged and why do I have to travel all the way out here for this meeting that I didn't really need to have? And here's this person who's driving 4.5 hours to work and back every single shift.
Yeah.
I think human connection is important.
So important.
Tristan, what's the biggest challenges in designing for hospitality? We're talking a lot about restaurants, but or hotels, but if you could create your list of the
Ideal
biggest challenge,
brief.
yeah.
I think the biggest challenge is the people who are doing hotels are successful hoteliers, and they have been for quite some time. So they've learned what works and what doesn't work. And they try to apply that to today. And I think there's an opportunity for someone to completely relook at it and ask why. Why does it have to be that way? And I think that's the biggest challenge for me, is just accepting what works because it always has worked, and not looking at reinventing it. And you can see big brands, I'm not going to name them, where they've targeted a specific group of people with every 10 years they're getting older, and all these beautiful hotels, 25 to 35, 40-year-olds don't want to go there because it feels like their parents' hotel.
Yeah.
And I think
That's true.
It needs a fresh new voice. That's a challenge. So these massive brand documents are a challenge.
Standards.
Brand standards. Because they were written by really experienced people who did what they did for a long time. And we need inexperienced people to try different things.
To unwrap it.
And make mistakes, make new mistakes. Mistakes can be beautiful things.
We're speaking a lot about experiential, design here. What is let's say, now that we touched a little bit this topic, what is the new traveler, new generation customer seeking in hospitality?
I think it's a broader question.
It's a very broad question.
It's what are they seeking in coming to a hotel versus an Airbnb? What is a restaurant guest seeking coming to a restaurant rather than ordering Uber Eats or Deliveroo? And what they're seeking is experience. They're seeking memories, and they're seeking a backdrop to those memories. So that's different to the way it always has been. 10 years ago, there was no choice. You traveled overseas, you stayed in a hotel. Now there's a choice between the cheaper, sometimes more convenient route, but you don't get certain things. You don't get that human connection. You don't get to experience the culture of the city. And, you don't get to see this beautiful interpretation of the city within a hospitality space.
Yeah, maybe something you would never experience at home as well. Something you haven't seen before.
Exactly. And I think it's our job as designers to create that experience and make it memorable. And if you don't, and if it's boring, I'll check into Airbnb next time.
Top 3 best places to go and visit any type of hospitality.
Paris, number 1.
Why?
Because it's so authentically Parisian.
Okay.
I think the concepts born there are so detailed, and they're made with a culture for craft. The French don't make things look nice because they need to make it look nice. It's part of the culture to create beautiful spaces. So Paris is number 1 for sure. Dubai is number 2. Because, I had, like we discussed, I was staying at Eden House for a while. I had a nice little apartment. So every time I came to Dubai, I'd check into my apartment. And then I realized after a while, I shouldn't be doing that. I'd cancel my lease. And now I stay at a different hotel every time I come. and you see all of these nuances from service, design, the area. And each area, each hotel, each microenvironment in Dubai has got so much to offer.
I think we're so spoiled with that because every time something new opens, we have an opportunity to experience that and experience it from, like you said, from design perspective, you know, from design angle. How is the space working? How is it looking for in the morning as an F&B?
Yeah.
How does it look by night? You know, all the wellness treatments. It's endless. Yeah.
So we want to hear the number 3 as well, but I have a question. The difference between Paris or France and Dubai, would you say that France has a longer history, a longer culture that doesn't exist in Dubai, and that's why or what do you think is missing between these two?
I don't think there's anything missing. I think they are each different in their own ways. I think Paris is very storied, and the heritage obviously outshines Dubai. But Dubai has this incomparable drive to be new and the best and bigger and think out of the box, which is really exciting. So in Paris, I know what to expect. And it's going to be beautiful. But in Dubai, I don't know when I come back in Jan, what new hotel is going to open? What cool new restaurant is there? I think it's that heritage and beauty of Paris, but the excitement of Dubai, that's the difference. I don't think one needs to be the other.
And number 3?
And number 3?
Number 3 is tough.
Johannesburg,
Number 3
Cape
is
Town?
tough. Cape Town is home. So, Cape Town's not about hospitality spaces. For me, it's just about the beauty of the city, the mountain, the sea. Like, we're able to wake up on a Sunday and drive 30 minutes to the winelands and spend a day in the wine farms. It's such a beautiful place to live. So that's not my number 3. I think my number 3 is Ibiza.
Really?
Yeah.
That's unexpected.
No, it's not. I mean, restaurant-wise, not. Hospitality.
Restaurant-wise, has got some really cool places, and it's on the inverse of the scale of Dubai and Paris, where it's shorts and sandals, but done so well. And they really celebrate ingredients rather than fancy plating. And also, every season, there's one or two cool new places. I really enjoyed out there.
Very nice. Nicely put list, I would say. Going back to this conversation of like how fast everything is changing, everything is AI driven. Everybody talks about sustainability. What do you think is the most challenging part now these days for us designers?
I think it's just speed and the implication that AI is going to make everything faster when everything is so new and we're still learning. We can't be fast and learn all at the same time. And I mentioned it earlier about mistakes being beautiful things, is that we're not getting the time to make mistakes, to take some risks and see if it works. And if it doesn't work, let's re-render and try something else out.
Yeah, everything is so fast-paced.
We just have to get it done and nail it on the first try. And what that often does, you go for the safer choice. You make it, they're going to like this, so let's do it. It's going to be fine when the design comes out and it's going to get approved. But I just wish there were more room to make mistakes.
Yeah,
I couldn't agree more. I think it's great, and we are where we are because of the speed and because of the pace. But sometimes we just need to break a little bit. Step back. It doesn't, creating something doesn't necessarily need speed, It needs time, it needs curation, you need to think about it, you need to try. So we definitely need to break a little bit sometimes, in my opinion.
I think it's really important that we do get some extra time just to experiment, just to have fun. Maybe that'll happen, maybe it won't. It's probably, everything's just going to get a lot faster.
But if you look, for example, in okay, designing for Dubai or designing for, let's say, Shanghai, in terms of creating a project and designing a project, do they take equally long time, or does Dubai require you to work faster?
That's a really difficult question because the project I did in Shanghai was for Louis Vuitton. So you can imagine it was really fast. I thought that was one of the most exciting projects I did because no matter what clients said, they are who they are. So yes.
Yeah.
Can you do a concept and renders by Thursday? And it's Tuesday afternoon?
Yes.
Yes. So I think that was a unique project where, the timelines were crazy. Dubai is very, very fast. I think because as saturated as a restaurant market may be, there are a lot of talented designers. And if you're not going to do it in 8 weeks, there's 2 or 3 other people that will do it.
Yeah. Guys, 8 weeks is ridiculous.
It's nothing.
I mean, I'm comparing our Dubai studio and our Stockholm studio. It's 2 completely different businesses that is being run. You know, we have so much time in Stockholm to go over details, to go over materials, to get to feel, to experience with the client and try. And here, that doesn't exist. Get me that sample board by tomorrow, you know? Do you appreciate working in Dubai?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Is the inverse of that is the contractors are so eager.
Yeah.
Sometimes too eager.
Yeah.
To participate.
Which is really cool. You know, often in other parts of the world, you really have to push contractors to get on board, where here, everyone's so motivated to get anything done. I mean, it's amazing. That's what I enjoy the most is the pace of actually building out these restaurants.
You're launching some of the most world famous hospitality projects. Mondrian teamed up with Ennismore and Raffles in Jeddah. You're working on 2 Mondrians. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Not going to correct you.
Okay.
Abu Dhabi and
Riyadh. Yeah.
Yeah, some fantastic partnerships. How was this collaboration? Came about? Was it your first project with Ennismore?
We helped Ennismore out. Before it was Ennismore with Accor, with a small little project a couple of years ago, and they saw some potential. I love the brands that Ennismore have.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
We do as well.
There's so much vision behind their brands and so much flexibility as well.
Yeah, and they're very, like you said, they love to experiment. They love to see what's new, you know, what's coming and transfer.
They're not afraid.
Yeah.
And sometimes they don't go by the book, which maybe...
They've got a youthful energy.
I feel like that's what made you guys.
And I think examples like 25 Hours Hotel, where everyone was going up, up, up. They did something cool and it worked so well. So that collaboration is amazing, and I'm working on a few other projects with the greater brand. So I just love the youthful spirit of Ennismore, and you know, we discussed earlier about brand standards. Their brand standards really encourage personal creativity, which is unique to them.
That's very interesting.
I think they are a little bit like what you spoke about before, that we need a new youthful group of people to go into hospitality and try new things and be daring to do errors, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe I think that I feel that they are the ones that are starting to get that new era up and coming.
100%, and that's why I'm so lucky to be doing projects with them.
Personally, for you, what is it that you still would like to design and you guys still haven't done with your studio?
Oh, that's a good question.
That's a really good question. You know, I'd really love to, this sounds so cheesy and corny, but whatever.
That's fine.
I'd really love to design a yacht.
I was about to say yacht as an example, but
I mean, that's not...
Because it's such an interesting thing to look at. This massive grand project filled with intimate experiences for one family.
You might actually do it after this podcast for...
Yeah, well, let's see. But I think it's an amazing process. You're essentially designing a hotel for a family. So you have to rethink whatever you thought about residential design and hotel design and fit it into this
Materiality.
intimate experience and the materiality. So it'd be a massive challenge, but I'd love to do that, just one.
Well, unfortunately, we're running out of time, and in the end of each episode, we're asking questions from our previous guests, and we had some really fun guests. How do you stay true to your identity in an environment where everything keeps changing?
That's a really good question.
I think it really suits you.
Smart girls.
Yeah.
I think the most important thing, what I tell everyone, it's very difficult to get what you want out of life if you don't know what you want out of life. And this, in answering that question, it's very difficult to stay true to your identity if you don't first know what your identity is. So I think the first step of that is defining your identity and your values. And once you've defined that, you just live with those and you're with
So
it.
true.
What would be your question for our next guest?
Which will be
Season
3.
Yeah.
Is it a hotelier? Because if it was, I'd say,
Well, we're
No.
not saying.
when
Yeah.
will you give designers more time to make mistakes?
That's a good question. Thank you so much, Tristan, for coming today. Thank you. It was the time just really flew by.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure, and we looked so much forward to have you here, and we tried, as we said in the beginning, we tried to get you on. Valeria,
Amazing.
thank you
Thank
for
you so
season
much.
2, and see you season 3.
Thank you, Shat. Thank you, teamwork. Best work.
Good job.